Welcome. Sage here. How's it going? Let me know in the comments below. Today is a mental session for the mind, mentality. And I will be speaking on power of purpose. Say it the opposite direction, I guess, purpose of power as well. Because it seems like a lot of the ideologies driving our civilizations currently are focused a lot on power being a primary driving force, which I could see it being a critical driving force, an important driving force, and I guess potentially a primary driving force, depending on the definition of power that you would like to provide, and also how you would use power. Now, to me, power per se means an ability to draw energy to a cause of some sort, energy to an action, a call of energy to action, something along those lines would be a close description of what power might imply. Now, how you tend to use this energy is whether or not a drive for power could be a good thing or a bad thing, malevolent thing or benevolent thing. And malevolent means evil or closely related, and then benevolent means good or loving, closely related to that. Now, if you choose to use your power righteously, benevolently, and follow that path, you will often find yourself in the predicament where the best way to gain more power is to be in service of someone. Or another way of saying that is to give it up. Give up your power to the service of a cause. And then that tends to have the effect of expanding, because if you utilize the skills and power of energy accumulation towards giving someone else more energy, guess what? It comes full circle. When you let your power, share your power rather, it lifts people up, gives them the ability to learn how to use their power and build more power, and then guess what? It comes back to you. Their power becomes shared to you, even if not directly. Like, they may help somebody that ends up helping somebody that ends up helping an organization that ends up helping a bunch of people, including yourself in the process. So that power still comes back to you. And you're not the great thing about it is if you share your power, you're not losing it. It's being, like, magnified. It's being multiplied, however you would want to say it. So if you truly would like to have an expanding power that abundantly increases and expands the best way to do that is to use your skills to help others that need those skills. And that's my philosophy on that. Because, I mean, if you save all the power for yourself and you use your skills only on yourself and you don't share any of it, that obviously will cut a lot of ties and will cause you to behave in ways less desirable to others. And they will tend to cut you off from that path because you're causing them inconveniences. So being self-centered has its purposes, but being solely self-centered is a bad idea. I would describe selfishness as a virtuous trait, potentially, if you are using your selfishness to in the means to help others, like focusing on yourself in order to improve your skills, to be more useful towards the service of others. That is a virtuous way of using your selfishness. Like, if you're too selfless without a strong core of selfish, then you can tend to be doing things for other people and getting dug in and jump into a hole with somebody without any skills or ability to get yourself out of that hole. Like somebody that may be wanting to start a business or something like that, per se, and you jump in there because you're selfless and you want to help them with that, but you find out you don't know how to do that either. And then you're both spending a lot of time not really getting anywhere, potentially. That could be an issue of selflessness. You were too selfless to focus on building your foundation. Power certainly is useful. Energy definitely makes things happen. Or I would like to say it in a better term of helps things happen. Potentially. And the interesting thing about the way the universe works, things are gonna happen in accordance to things that are happening. So what you do is going to cause a lot of the outcome of what you get. And the only factors that kind of make it a little bit unexpected and surprising is what others do also affects your outcome. And we are not aware of what every other human being is doing, or nor are we ever capable of that, no matter what technology we have, because we can only focus so much on what we're aware of. And even fantastic computers that have perfect monitoring and all that stuff, we can only use those so much. They'll say that they're right, but that doesn't mean that we have any idea what they're talking about, and what right means is even definable. Because there are so many gray areas. We thrive in the gray areas. There's so many things where one day we'll say it's wrong and one day we'll say it was justifiable and necessary and righteous. So, I mean, if you leave that in the hands of a robot, they're going to always think one certain outcome is wrong. And that's not necessarily the case. There are plenty of examples of that. I mean, if you wanted to wrap your mind around it, it would be the instance of seatbelts most of the time save people's lives, but sometimes they can cause people much more hazard than good. Like they can get jammed and mount faulty. You never know if your seatbelt is going to have a malfunction. All sorts of things like that. So yeah, if you want to control everything, you're probably going to lose control. That's a quote from a lot of philosophers. Alan Watts is where I typically got it. Just to name one. And if your will to power is in order for you to have sway over other people, just be mindful that's a great responsibility. And most people don't know how to live other people's lives. So beware the temptations that power can bring. And be mindful that gratitude and stewardship are very beneficial. Every king was born a fool. And fool just means beginner. So, a king who says they were never a fool is not a king, because they do not know what it means. I think that's a good session for today. Thank you for visiting. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, critiques, or interests to share, post them in the comments below. Share your videos, share your channel. I will subscribe, and hopefully we can expand. Love and peace. Sage out.